Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beast Watch. Today on Beast Watch, we're going to be talking about Season 1, Episode 12 of The Flash, Crazy for You. Spoiler warning, if you've never seen Beast Watch before, I do go into full detail about the episodes of the shows that I'm reviewing. So, if you haven't been caught up in the latest episode just yet, you might want to go check that out, then come on back and check out this episode of Beast Watch. With that said, let's please jump into this episode of The Flash. So there's a couple of really great things I want to get off the bat, but let's just scratch the surface. Let's set the scene a little bit here before we get into the real meat and potatoes of what the hell went down tonight on The Flash. The villain for this show was Shauna Baez, aka Peekaboo. A little bit lesser known of a villain in the Flash series, but essentially she's Nightcrawler. We watched her teleport around. She was really cool. She had kind of a different style and a kind of different vibe that she brought to the show that we haven't seen just yet. And overall, this was a more playful episode, which I actually really enjoyed. Up until the end, it got a little bit less playful, and we'll get to that soon enough. So on to a couple important points from tonight's episode. It was very focused around Cisco letting Pied Piper out. Of course, they got into it a couple of times. We saw a little bit of a dark side for Cisco that we usually don't get a chance to see. But yeah, he let Pied Piper out because he was trying to find out about Ronnie, Caitlin's husband, who we find out was fused together during the particle accelerator explosion with Dr. Martin Stein. So Dr. Martin Stein and Ronnie are one person now. That's why he was all kind of warped in the mind. He didn't really know what was going on when we ran into him. But we do know what future holds for Ronnie, so we think anyway. So in the grand scheme of things, Hartley does escape after a little bang up with Cisco. He feels really bad about it. He finally comes clean to the group. He tells everybody what's been going on, and they're a little disappointed at first, but ultimately they come to understand what's Cisco's main motivation, because he just feels so guilty and responsible for what happened to Caitlin's husband, and they forgive and forget because they all have made mistakes in this world. So it's one thing Cisco did wrong, and he was trying to make amends for it. We also see some stuff in this episode that seems to lead us to believe that Caitlin and Barry may have a future relationship blossoming. There were some really funny scenes between them, a lot of witty banter, but then ultimately in the end, it does kind of seem like some sparks are flying. Will Barry and Caitlin get together? My bet's on yes, but we'll have to wait and see. There was some really cool action in tonight's episode. We saw this one scene where Barry finally finds out that Peekaboo can't teleport unless she can see where she's going. So he kind of like blazes through this tunnel, taking out all the lights at like lightning fast speed. He just like mauls the car that her and her boyfriend are in. It's so rad. I really can't fathom how great that the special effects look in this show on the budget that they must be working with. For a show on the CW, I mean, they really make the Flash look cool. Every week I'm just astounded by how cool they make his speed look, and this week was no slouch by any means necessary. That whole scene in the tunnel was perfect. It was awesome. I loved watching the Flash run down the tunnel. Oh my gosh, nothing but positive things to say about tonight. But let's get to the good stuff I want to talk about here. So we see some more of Barry's dad in prison. He gets hurt because he's trying to poke around in the business of one of the crime lords, and he really just wants to help Barry out. He tells Barry in an interaction that he has with Barry and Joe that any chance he gets to be there for Barry, he wants to, since Barry's been there for him all this time that he's been locked away. And man, he takes a beating after he pokes around in the wrong business. The Flash, aka Barry, comes and sets that guy straight, and that kind of leads us to this beautiful, perfectly executed scene in this week's episode. So again, full-on spoilers, because this is really something I encourage you guys to watch if you haven't seen it yet. But that's your warning. Here we go. So, oh my gosh, the scene between Barry and his dad. Barry's sitting next to his dad's hospital bed, and his dad's starting to make connections. It's kind of funny. This guy who beat me up just disappears right after I tell you about it. Blah, 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 so on. He knows what's going on. He is wise to Barry. It's his son. He knows what's happening. He knows he's the Flash. And Barry kind of tells him, look, Dad, if I was the Flash, you would be the first one to know it. So his dad goes into this whole thing about how if he was the Flash, he would have some things to say to his son, and he just went on to say how proud he was of him and that he's a hero, and it was just crazy emotional. There was tears in his father's eyes, there was tears in Barry's eyes. Grant Gustin just nailed this part to death. I swear to you, if that scene went on just 3 more seconds, I would have been in tears. I could feel it in my chest. I don't really cry at film or TV, but something about this interaction with his dad and him telling him about what a hero he is, and they now share this secret, even though it's kind of unspoken that they both know that the dad knows. I mean, holy shit, it was just so awesome. I've never seen quite such a powerful scene on anything on the CW before, and this was just so crazy good to watch, and these guys really deserve just all the credit in the world for making this scene as emotional as it was, and it got a big guy like me to get a little choked up. So if that amazing display of acting wasn't enough for you, at the very end, we find Gorilla Grodd, what? Loose in the sewers, killing construction workers. We get kind of a good glimpse of him. If I can find a picture of him, I will post it right here for you guys. So if you're looking at him right now, there you go. There's our look at Gorilla Grodd. I'm not sure if I can be able to find it or not, but yeah, we see Gorilla Grodd. He has got his name written all over the sewer walls. He is vicious. He is on the loose, and something tells me he is coming for the Flash. So, man, I'll tell you what starts off as such a playful episode, ends in this crazy emotional scene, and then this atom bomb of an Easter egg at the end telling us Gorilla Grodd is very much existent, and he is out there. I know we've saw some stuff before, but this is it. We saw Gorilla Grodd. He is pissed, and he is taking out people. And, man, what an episode this was tonight. That's what I really respect about the writing for The Flash. They take this playful, happy-go-lucky episode, which does have its up and down moments, of course, but, man, overall, it was pretty playful. And then, by the very end, they flip the whole thing on its head. You don't know what the hell just happened. Now, all of a sudden, you're feeling like you want to cry because of this beautiful moment between Barry and his dad. You turn around, now we got one of the biggest villains for the Flash to come. He's out on the loose. We get our first look at him. It's just insane. If you're not watching The Flash, start watching The Flash. This show is going to be on for a while. I just hope that people understand that this is a big move for DC Comics, and this is a big move for the CW's television lineup. Man, I really don't like to use profanity all that often on the channel here, but this episode of The Flash was not good. It was not great. This episode was awesome. What did you guys think of the episode? Let us know in the comments below. Doesn't matter. This episode was so good. And remember to subscribe to the Level Up Network to catch an episode of Beast Watch after all of your favorite shows. For the Level Up Network, I am, of course, thebeastnj. And until next time, folks, sit back, relax, and enjoy the shows.